and today we are going to take a look at whatever questions you guys might have. So feel free to drop your questions in the comments. This is my first live here on YouTube, so welcome. I've got my chat open, and if you are new to the channel, do please like and subscribe. And if you'd like a guaranteed reading, we've only got a few people here. Oh, hi. Sorry about that. I am gonna mute my camera. So yeah, if you'd like a guaranteed reading, I know we've just got a couple people here in the chat right now, but do feel free to take a look at the description box where I've got the information on donations, which will guarantee you a reading. But go ahead and drop your questions. Jen, yeah, of course, you're free to ask a question. It's really just you and me right now. We had someone else in the chat, so but they've dropped off. So yeah, absolutely. If you're open to it, let's go ahead and kick it off. So today I am using the Lightseers Tarot. If you haven't used it, it's a great deck. I love this deck. It's a nice modern interpretation on the Rider-Waite. So I've got a couple of other decks here that we can also use. Just really open to kind of what you guys, what direction you guys want to take it to today. I was going to do a love-focused reading. Those seem to be pretty popular with my followers, but I'm open to whatever you guys want to do. So Jen, yeah, I don't see, oh, here we go. Let's see. Okay. Sure. So intuition's definitely on point. Love is always a popular topic. Sure. Let's take a look at what may be happening between you and your interest in the next few weeks. So I'm just going to, as always, go with my intuition. So we'll start with the Lightseers Tarot, and if I feel called to draw from any other decks, I've got a couple here with me. They're pretty unique. I'm sure you guys have probably seen the Lightseers Tarot a lot of your readers. You are welcome. Absolutely. So what do we see coming through for you in the next few weeks? So out of curiosity, what is your current status, Jen? Are you contact, no contact? A bit of context always helps me to connect to the energy. And as I'm going through, if you guys see pinned messages, I'm going to pin the comments that I see. You know, as we continue to get more people in the chat, I want to make sure I don't lose track of any of the individuals asking for a reading. Let me see here. Okay, perfect. Thanks for that context, Jen. Yeah, the Lightseers Tarot is really great. I like this deck. Like this is... I'll show you the box. So this is the front of the box, is the High Priestess card. It's really pretty. It takes like a modern interpretation of, hi everyone. It takes a modern look at the Rider-Waite. So I'm sure everyone's familiar with the Rider-Waite. It's kind of like the OG deck. This is a bit of a modern spin. It's less religious, kind of more spiritual. So if you like what you see, I don't actually have the information in this description yet, but I'll be sure to add it after the chat. And but if you do like what you see, my other two recent videos were using this deck as well. So if you check the description box, I actually have a link where you can buy it on Amazon. So anyway, let's tune into your energy and see what is going on for you in the next couple of weeks. Okay. All right, so we have the Seven of Cups. Okay, so automatically the energy that is coming through is one of options, maybe confusion here. I'll hold this up so you can see it again. So this card can often represent being clouded by too many options. And I'm definitely tapping into the energy of, it seems to me like your person may feel like they are being pulled in multiple directions right now. I'm getting a bit of a scattered energy. So I know, I mean, you said you were talking with this person. It seems to me like they might have a lot going on. They may seem, I'm getting kind of like the energy of a duck. I know that sounds kind of strange, but you know, ducks look nice and calm on the surface, and then underneath there's just lots of frantic paddling. That's kind of the energy that I'm picking up on from your person, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, we all have different energies that we show up with in the world, and but I get the sense that this person is weighing their options, and I think, yeah, let's see, we're pulling another card here. We've got the Four of Cups. So there seems to be an uncertainty regarding this person's love life, almost like a disinterested. I don't know if that resonates for you, Jen, but do feel free to give me feedback in the comments. I'd like to pull one more card here for you. Okay. And we have the Five of Swords in reverse. Your person may be recovering from some sort of, I'm getting, this is sort of reinforcing the feelings around feeling scattered. I'm definitely getting a lot of scattered mental energy here and uncertainty around emotions. It may seem like your person seems kind of apathetic right now and possibly overwhelmed by choice. It definitely feels like they have a lot going on. Let me see, I'm reading your comment here. No, I get it. Having a sense of humor with someone is really important. So let's focus more in on that question. I'm seeing right now, I don't know, you know, some people you have to be very blunt with in terms of your intention. So I don't know if you've had that kind of conversation with your person, Jen, but you know, if their energies are kind of scattered and they've got a lot going on, like that's definitely the energy that I'm picking up on here. It may have nothing to do with you and have everything to do with your person just kind of not really attending to their emotional, like their heart space right now. I'm definitely getting a feeling of being disconnected with the heart space and maybe very in the head space. That's what this is pointing me towards. So I would, you know, if you haven't already, the feeling is right. You know, it sounds like the energy is right for you. Yeah, this is confirming that, you know, it's time to make a decision. I think if the energy feels right for you too, I would recommend, yeah, taking the blindfold off, having that conversation with your person. And yeah, okay. Yeah, see, I'm definitely getting that he may not be picking up on what you're putting down, if that makes sense. So I mean, like I said, it sounds to me like your person has a lot going on, and they may just not be focused on the they may not be focused on the emotional side right now. And I'm definitely feeling, thank you, Alyssa. I will definitely get to you. I'm definitely picking up that your person is just, A bit stuck in their head. That's definitely what I'm picking up on. They're a bit stuck in their head, and you may need to be, um, I'm not picking up on, yeah, I'm not picking up on necessarily jealousy per se. I really, I mean, that wasn't the energy that was coming through in the reading. But I do think that this is calling for you to be blunt, for you to be communicative. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. I did see that, so I will get to you in just a minute. So yeah, I think you're being called to speak your truth. It may feel like you're walking on a bit of a tightrope, but I think you're being called to speak your truth. If this is something, tap into your emotions and feel how you are. If the energy feels good, trust it, and I would recommend just being blunt with your person. Yeah. So I hope that is helpful, Jen. Do feel free to let me know how that resonated in the comments. Okay. And I'm doing my best to try to pin these questions as they come through, so bear with me. Anne-Marie, thank you so much. I'm assuming you came through in my notifications as Alyssa, so I'm assuming that is you. If that is you, please let me know down in the comments. If you have a question, let's see. If you have a question, do go ahead and put that down in the comments and I will read for you. Fabulous. Okay, great. So if you can just let me know what your question is, I'll be happy to draw some cards for you for sure. Thank you for the feedback also, Jen. I mean, we don't ever get what we don't ask for, Jen. So if you know what is right for you in this situation. So I mean, the phrase rejection is divine protection. That's the worst that could happen, is that you put yourself out there and you get rejected. But if that opportunity, if that does happen, then it wasn't meant for you, or at least the timing may have been off. So, but I'm not necessarily picking up on that. I would say trust your gut and go for it. I mean, you have nothing to lose. If it's something that you're interested in pursuing, sometimes you're going to have to be the person to do the pursuing, if that makes sense. So let's see here. Let's take a look at your question, Anne-Marie. Okay. Sure, absolutely. And you're right, timing is absolutely fluid. I'm glad that you understand that. I mean, these readings are a great indicator for giving us an idea of the energy surrounding something, but we always have free will, and it's important to recognize that. So, yeah, Jen, of course. Absolutely. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so let's tap into your energy, Anne-Marie. Okay, so Anne-Marie, you are currently single and presumably you are in contact with this person, is that correct? Okay, I'm not seeing the comment come through just yet. I'll give you a minute. If you didn't hear, I was just asking what your, okay, let me see. Okay, so no contact at the moment, okay. To everyone that's just joining us, hi, welcome. So I'm gonna do my best to answer however many questions I can. Go ahead and read the information in the description box. We've got a few people lined up, so I'm currently reading for Anne-Marie. Okay. Okay, wow. That's interesting. So our first card that popped up is a card that everyone loves to see in a love reading, is the Ten of Cups. So that's very interesting. I was not expecting that to pop up on the first card here. Let me see, just give me 1 second. I've got my batteries running low. I'm going to continue the reading. Just 1 second. I've got to plug myself in before I lose you guys. Just give me 1 second. There we go. Sorry about that. I came unplugged when I moved my computer. So yeah, I wasn't expecting this to pop out on the first card. I've given you guys are no contact, but what this is telling me is either one or both of you have this idea of the Ten of Cups in your mind right now. And this is a card of companionship. And this is, you know, when people think of tarot and the cards that are most representative of love, of course you have the major arcana, the Lovers. But the major arcana, as I'm sure you all know, they tend to be events that are more associated with what we might attribute to fate. Whereas the minor arcana, such as this card, those tend to represent things that we have more immediate say over. So I'm getting the sense that you're ready to manifest your forever person, whatever that may mean for you. And I think you have done some thinking about what that means for you, what you would like in a long-term partner. And I'm picking up on this person's energy being on a similar wavelength as well, in terms of them being at a point where they are ready to manifest that, which is great because that means that you are aligned. But let's pull some additional cards for clarification. What are the next moves? Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune in, okay, that's great to know. That's good feedback. Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune in reversed, or in reverse. So this is, again, this is that major minor arcana difference we were talking about. So it sounds to me like, so the wheel, of course, is a wheel. It can go up, it can go down, and I'm in the reverse position. I'm getting that timing may be off. So timing may be off for the two of you right now. That doesn't mean an immediate no, of course, but you know, as with everything, divine timing is really essential. So, and you want to make sure that you're both on the same page in terms of, you know, your wants and your needs, especially if you're considering someone for your forever person. You know, you don't want to be in a position where you're settling. You know, if this is your forever person, you want it to be someone that's aligned with what you want for the long term. So I drew a couple of cards actually popped out from the deck as I was talking, and that two more major arcana. So you've got a lot of major arcana energy, which is really interesting. So some of this is going to feel kind of a bit out of your control. What this is telling me is that, you know, you can be as transparent as you want, but we can't necessarily force something that may not be right for us in the moment. So be patient. I drew the Hierophant as well as the World. So in both of these cards, actually 3 out of these 4 cards here are solitary. There's one person on each of these cards. And then we've got the 2 here in the coupledom. So I think the world can point to the ending of a cycle, the beginning of a cycle as well. I am, coupled with the Hierophant, I'm seeing that you're being called to tap into your own inner wisdom. And this may be taking a more traditional approach that is trying to find the right words. Let me clarify the Hierophant. So it's not quite coming through very clearly. In fact, I'm actually picking up on, so that's interesting. I'm picking up on some reticence. So I don't know, Jen, if it's possible, you know, you said you've spoken with this person about your needs and wants. I'm getting that there may be a resistance to emotional vulnerability, perhaps a fear of commitment that has, I'm getting that it's not necessarily to do with you per se, more so a fear of vulnerability in terms of their own emotions. And I think that this person, your person, is being called to really go inward and find what is blocking themselves from their own emotional abundance. They may be at the end of a cycle themselves. They may be having, I think they're at a really transformative period in their life. They're cutting out things that no longer serve them in order to, or they're being called to do that in order to make room for something new. They may have been hurt in the past, and that may be why I'm picking up on this energy of being reticent to come forward. I'm gonna pull another card for clarification. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah, and I'm definitely picking up on that, but I would say I know this is easier said than done, but I would not take this personally. This is not about you. This is about him. I mean, like I said, we've got 3 major arcana here, and those often represent the things that kind of feel outside of our control. They're those archetypal moments in our lives, or in the fool's journey, that, you know, we're all fools in our own lives. There are those moments in our life that help nudge us into a certain direction. And then it's up to us to make decisions in our lives as to whether or not we want to learn the lesson or repeat the lesson. And so your person is really being called to tap into their inner self, and in order to find that, in order to end that cycle, so that they can manifest this. They do want this, I think, deep down. That is something that they're being called to work through, but they're going to have to work on themselves in order to feel that that emotional vulnerability. Because I'm picking up that, you know, they may have been hurt in the past. This may have been a previous relationship, like another romantic partner. It may even have been a familial discord that has closed their heart off from, you know, that emotional vulnerability. You know, we develop these defense mechanisms in being closed off because those mechanisms once served us. You know, they were helpful, but then we reach a point where they're actually doing us more harm than good. So to clarify your person, I drew the Ace of Pentacles. So what this is telling me in timing, again, we've got the Wheel of Fortune, which is the tarot's cheeky way of saying, you know, it's in divine timing. But with the Ace of Pentacles, what that is telling me is that there is an opportunity for something new here. And I think you are going to have the opportunity to build something with this person. But the Pentacles are very slow moving energy. So it's associated with the element of earth, you know, and if you think about, if you just look at this card, this person essentially has a seed that they're preparing to plant into the ground. It's the potential for something new. You can see the, you know, tree and the acorn, if you will, but it can take a while for something to grow from a seedling to a root to a sprout into the full plant or the flower. And so this is going to be slow moving energy, but it's also going to require your person to take the opportunity that's presented in the Ace. But my best suggestion for you is to be patient. So I hope that resonated with you, Anne-Marie. And if you have any additional questions or input or feedback, do feel free to drop that in the comments. And hi to everybody that is new with us, that joined. Let me see, I've got a couple of pinned comments here. So I've got Midnight Blue 05, are you still here? Midnight Blue 05, if you're still here, drop a comment in the comment section. Okay. I believe Midnight Blue has left. Okay, and then I've got a couple, I see Jasia. Is Jasia still here? And I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Okay, here I see Jasia is here. And Jasia, if you do have a question, do go ahead and drop that in the comments. And any context that you may have would be useful. Anne-Marie, I hope that was really helpful. I really appreciate your donation. Do feel free to drop me a message. You probably found me on Facebook, so if you'd like any, if you want to give me feedback or DM, do feel free to reach out. Yeah, I know. You're welcome. I know patience can be really difficult, but just try your best to. There may be moments where you may feel like if you are more vulnerable with this person again and you do share how you're feeling and what your expectations are, if you feel that they're not being reciprocated or your person is still remaining in that sort of closed off energy, do try your best not to take it personally. I know that that is easier said than done, but again, slow moving energy and patience. Things will work out in the end, but do try to keep patience as your mantra. I mean, I do see that you are still aligned in what you both want, and I do see that happening for you, but all in divine timing. Okay, hi Jasia. So if you have a question, if you want to go ahead and drop that down in the comments, I'd be happy to read for you. And again, for anyone else that is waiting, oh, perfect, great. I'm glad I pronounced your name correctly, fabulous. Yeah, for anyone else that's waiting, the information is in the description box. We've got a few people here. I'm gonna try to read for as many as I can. But if you would like to skip the line, the information for donation is in the description box. That is not required, but it is definitely appreciated. But like I said, I'm gonna do my best to read for as many people as I can today. So Jasia, you are single. Okay, do you have a question that you'd like to ask? Is it pertaining to your love life? And again, for others, everyone is available to ask a question. I see C. Scott, you asked as well. Everyone can ask a question if you'd like. I'm gonna do as many as I can. And if I'm drawn to you, of course, I will read for you. So do think about what questions you want to ask and drop them in the comments so that we can make the best use of time. There's been a few people here that have been waiting patiently too. So just see if you do have a question, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and move on to someone else. And then I can get to you afterwards. Okay, so let's see, I think C. Scott was first. So Jisia, we're going to go on to C. Scott. So if you have a question, do feel free to drop it into the comments and I will get to you after C. Scott. So if you have a question, C. Scott, and you're still with us, do feel free to drop that in the comments. Okay. Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay, Jisia. Okay, and then I'll get to you, C. Scott. Okay, so another love reading. Okay, so let's tap into your energy. Let's tap into Jisia's energy. Okay, it's interesting. We drew the Seven of Cups upright again. That came up in a previous reading. So we have the Seven of Cups. And that came out in the reverse. We have the, get that back into view. We have the Seven of Cups here. And the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. I'm actually going to reshuffle these. I'm going to focus more on your energy again. Sometimes when we do multiple readings in a row, there's still a lingering energy here. Okay, so we have, yeah, this is definitely coming through stronger. So we have the Star upright. This is a major arcana card. I'm feeling that you're in a point now where you may have just, the Star card is the number 17. And 17 comes right after 16. And if you're unfamiliar with the tarot, the 16 card is the Tower. And the Tower points to those moments in our lives where we can feel out of control. And the 17, the Star card is that healing that comes after. It's sort of that calm after the storm, if you will. So I'm getting the sense that either you may have just gone through a major life transformation, or you're in the process of going through a sort of spiritual renewal or immense deep healing on an overall level. I think if you had been feeling disconnected in the past from your purpose, from a sense of hope for the future, and maybe you may have felt aimless even, unsure of direction in life. I think you're at a point where you've had this major shift in your own consciousness, and you have learned how to love yourself and to love yourself unconditionally. And I think that that is opening you up to wanting to manifest your soulmate. And I think that's often the hardest part. You know, many people think that they're ready to manifest that in their lives, but if we're coming at it from a place of scarcity or from a place of lack, then, you know, we're going to attract, Thank you, Jasia, for that feedback. Yeah, we're going to attract that same energy. So, you know, we receive whatever we put out into the universe. So I'm getting the sense that you're kind of starting over with a renewed sense of self. And that's a great place to start from, because I'm definitely feeling that you're coming from a place of abundance and certainty in yourself. And that's magnetic. You know, if you're confident and sure in who you are, you're going to attract people that are also of that same vibration. That's not to say that we don't occasionally attract people from our past that, you know, may bring back old lessons, but those are an opportunity to show us that, you know, we are at a different point this time. This isn't how things were in the past. So I'm definitely getting a sense of a new beginning for you. So thank you for that confirmation. This popped out alongside it, which was interesting. So again, this absolutely points to new beginnings. I love this deck because it gives a more different look at the death card. It can be a very scary card for many people because, you know, no one likes to think, oh yeah, okay. I'm so sorry that you went through that. I'm sending you a lot of love and light. That's very difficult. So yeah, I mean, the Star card is all about healing, Jasia, and that's where you are. And I know that if you've been involved in that sort of dynamic with someone, you can really lose yourself. I mean, that's part of the narcissist playbook, right? I mean, a textbook narcissist is going to try to remove you from your support system. They may try to gaslight you, question your own sense of self and well-being, so that, you know, they can have their source of supply all to themselves. So learning how to trust yourself and learning how to trust yourself, full stop, can be very difficult when you're recovering from that. But I'm seeing this card is definitely pointing to a new renewal, a new beginning, healing. And combined with this card, that's beautiful. So in this deck, the death card is death and rebirth. And I think that's beautiful, particularly for where you're at. You are at a point of renewal. We can't say yes to the things in our life that are aligned with our highest good if we continue to say no. So if you settle for less, then you're going to miss out on more. And, you know, sometimes I think it's very common in general for people, if they are eager to manifest a relationship or they're coming at it from a place of lack, then that relationship is not going to work out. And it has everything to do with the fact that you're approaching it from the wrong place. But I don't see that in your energy right now. I see that you're starting over, and this is really beautiful energy. You're embracing the change. And that's after the Tower card, right? Everything felt like it was out of control. So I am going to draw some more clarification here. I mean, this is really beautiful energy that I'm picking up on. I know it's very hard to recover from something like that. So you have my absolute love and light that I'm sending to you. But I get the sense that you don't need it. You're doing just fine on your own, which is fabulous. I picked up on the High Priestess. And again, I mean, every single one of these cards is major arcana. And the High Priestess is all about trusting your own intuition. And I think you're learning how to do that again. And this is coming after a period where maybe you doubted yourself. You didn't take the time to listen to your inner wisdom, or if you did, you didn't trust it. But that is going to be essential for you to rebuild that muscle. You never lost the muscle, but I'm picking up on that during maybe this last relationship especially, you may have lost faith in your ability to trust yourself, but you're being called to do that again, to go inward. I'm going to draw another card here because you asked about timing as well. So we'll try to get some information, some clarification on timing for you. Okay. Oh, that's a lot of cards that popped out. Okay. So we have the Seven of Wands. And again, this is also about going inward. This is about this card in this particular deck. I like the way it's illustrated because it calls for boundaries. And this woman here is sitting inside of her bubble. She's content with where she's at, but you know, there's 7 wands here that are trying to burst her bubble. And that could be literal. You know, you may have a lot of people that have a lot of opinions about what you should be doing right now. You know, maybe you have people asking you why you haven't moved on or why you're still single or what have you. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah, you might have a lot of people that have a lot of opinions, and it can be hard to tap into what's right for you, but you're really being called to trust yourself. Reconnect with what is aligned with you and your highest good. Try to visualize what it is that you do want. So, you know, if the universe taught you anything with your last relationship, I'd say it's pretty safe to say that you know what you don't want. So use that as an indicator to think, okay, I learned a lesson there. How can I move on from that and manifest what I do want? So go within and have boundaries. Boundaries are a good thing. No is a complete sentence. And recognize that you have the power to stand within your own power. And no one can take that away from you either. I also drew the 3 of Pentacles. So this is, I think, more when the timing is going to come through. This is a card of collaboration. I think you may have, all of these other cards here are solitary. So everyone on the card is by themselves. Whereas this card, you see a couple of people working on something together. So you may be coming out of a period where you felt very isolated. You may have spent a lot of time alone. But I think you're being called to step outside of your shell and meet new people. That is how you are going to set yourself on the path to manifest your soulmate. So maybe pick up a hobby. I don't know if you enjoy the creative arts, but I'm picking up on that quite strongly. You may also meet someone at work. But you're being called to put yourself out there and meet new people, collaborate. And it doesn't have to be from a desire of, you know, dating or anything like that. Just meet new people. Join a group in your local community. Find people that are interested in things that you maybe used to do but stopped doing. I'm definitely getting the sense that you may have isolated yourself in the past, and that sort of hermit period is over. But when you do bring yourself out of that shell, you know, you are being called to check back in with yourself and make sure that you are having those boundaries, so that when you are creating with someone, whether that's a romantic connection or not, you're coming at it from a place of self-assurance. So, Jasia, does that resonate with you? If you could let me know in the comments. I always appreciate feedback. If you're coming at this from the Divinely Guided Tarot group in Facebook, you can also leave feedback in the album, or if not, feel free to leave feedback on my Facebook page or on the comment section here. It's always appreciated. So I'm going to take a look at some other questions here. So I believe Midnight Blue has dropped off, but Midnight Blue, if you're still here, you were early on, so do drop a comment. C. Scott, you were next as well. If you're still here, also feel free to drop your question in the comments. And I believe after that is Lizzie. So, hi Lizzie, I am good, thank you. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone's having a fabulous start to their new year. So, again, if anyone has any questions, do go ahead and drop them in the comments, and I will get to those when I am done with Lizzie. And then I believe Shitika is after that. Thank you for the feedback, Jasia. I appreciate it. That's helpful. I really wish you all the best. I hope things work out for you. I'm very glad that you got yourself free from that person. Okay, so let's tap into Lizzie. Lizzie, let's tap into your energy. So I don't typically like to do pregnancy readings in a public forum. They can be very private, and I mean, I like, cause you know, you never know what's going to come out in the cards. But Lizzie, if that's something, you know, you're open with, first of all, actually, before I read for you, Lizzie, are you still here? Okay, Lizzie, if you're still here, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Got a few people that have dropped off. Otherwise, Shateka, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I hope I am. If I'm not, let me know. Shateka Slaughter. Okay. Interesting. What do you mean by that, Jasia? You said you feel you'd be in your high priestess fully. So are you thinking, yeah, what do you mean by that? So like you'll be too isolated to manifest someone? Okay, Shateka, thank you. Yeah, Jasia, let me know, what do you mean by that? If you could clarify, because that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it would make sense that you could meet someone at work. I mean, we meet people where we're at, right? I mean, online dating is a thing, but you know, the OG way of meeting people in the world is still a thing. So I wish you the best. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and read for Shateka now. But do clarify what you mean. I'm curious to know what you mean by being in your high priestess. But now we are going to tap into Shateka's energy. Lizzie or C. Scott or any of the others that have asked a question, if you still have a question, do feel free to drop it in the comments and I will get to you after I have read for Shateka. I'll do my best. We've been reading for about 45 minutes, so I'm going to do as many as I can. So, Shateka, if you could give me a bit more context. Are you single now? Are you guys together? Are you contact, no contact? Okay, thanks, Lizzie. Yeah. So I'm tapped into Shateka's energy right now, but I will get to you next. So Shateka, while you're providing that context for me, I was curious, you know, your status right now, if you're single, contact, no contact. Okay, perfect. Lizzie, before I get into Shateka's reading, I don't typically do pregnancy. It's very private. Yeah, it's not something I really feel comfortable reading for. Because we don't know what the cards are going to reveal, and it could be a very private reading. I mean, I'd be happy to discuss that more with you offline. We could do, you know, a full relationship reading if that's something you're open to, but just for ethical reasons, in a public forum, I don't know that I feel comfortable answering that question, but I'd be happy to answer another question you may have around your love life. But let's tap into your energy, Shateka. In the future, I'll put that information in the description box. I usually do post that on my socials, you know, legal, pregnancy, health readings. Those are, I try to practice discretion there. So, okay, so Shateka, let's see here. What is next? Shateka. And again, apologies if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. I am trying my best. Oh, interesting. So that popped right out of the deck. So I'm definitely sensing some eager energy. That could be one or both of you, Shateka. There's definitely an eagerness to manifest something new, to start something new. The Ace of Cups is all about new beginnings. The Ace in any of the minor arcanas are all about new beginnings, potential. And it's up to us to take that potential and do something with it, or decide if we want to act on the potential. But I'm definitely getting an eagerness here. That card jumped right out of the deck. You know, sometimes when I tap into someone's energy, it takes a couple of minutes to shuffle, but this one's fairly clear. Okay. What is next for Shteka and James? It's really beautiful energy with the Ace of Cups. There's definitely an openness there to new beginnings. Oh, that one also popped out. Okay, so we have the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is one of my favorite court cards in the deck. The Queen of Wands is all in her power. She's very creative. I mean, in this deck especially, I mean, you can see she's holding the flame in her hand, seemingly produced by her own free will. So I get the sense that you're tapping into your own Queen of Wands era is what I'm feeling. So you're ready to light the spark. I mean, this woman is just absolutely surrounded by all of the candles, but she's on her own. She can light her own candles. She's holding the wand in her hand, but she's kind of created her own flame. So I think this is pointing to a good energy to me, because what that's telling me is you're coming at wanting to manifest a relationship from a place of wholeness, which is a great place to start a relationship. You know, I said this earlier in the reading, or in the live reading, you can't fill from an empty cup. And I think that you may have done that in the past. I'm picking up on maybe some people-pleasing tendencies. You may have felt pressured to attend to other people's emotions, often at the expense of yours, but I'm definitely getting that if that was the case for you, and, you know, of course, let me know if that resonates. But if that was the case for you, I'm getting the sense that you're no longer in that energy. So you're coming from a place of wholeness, ready to manifest a relationship with someone, which is very positive. And that energy is very magnetic as well. The Queen of Wands knows how to manifest what she wants, knows how to create. The wands are associated with the element of fire and with creativity. So that's very perfect. I'm glad. I'm glad that resonates, Shteka. So I'm definitely getting the sense that you're stepping into your own power, and that's attractive. So these two popped out. We've got the Page of Pentacles upright and the Nine of Wands. So more wands here. So I think you are learning to step into your power, but with the Page of Pentacles, the pages are the more youthful court cards. So they can sometimes actually represent a person that is younger than you, but they can also represent a more youthful energy or embodiment of the particular arcana. And in this case, we're talking about the Pentacles. So it may feel like this is kind of uncharted territory for you, because if you were dealing formerly with people-pleasing tendencies and putting others' needs before your own, learning to put yourself first is kind of a new skill for you, and that can be scary. And it can be a bit like a balancing act. Like, how can you maintain your independence and also care for others without feeling like, you know, you're losing your balance? And I think you're being called to, when you do seek this relationship, that you don't lose your own balance. That's being sort of not confirmed, but clarified more with the Nine of Wands, which also popped out. So the Nine of Wands, it can represent defensiveness, and I think in this case it's defensiveness in a positive way. So I think you're being called to use discretion when it comes to embarking into new relationships. So be sure that you are standing in your power. You're coming at the relationship from a place of personal strength, you know, knowing your own worth. I'd like to draw another card for clarification as well. Okay. Okay. Great. So I am seeing the Sun, which is a beautiful card. There's a lot of fire energy here. So, I mean, we've got the Queen of Wands, we've got the Nine of Wands. There's a lot of fire energy, a lot of warmth. The Sun, I'm picking up on, you may have gone through a period where you were more in your moon phase, where you had gone through, oh, it looks like I lost you. Okay. Well, I'm going to stick here in case you come back. You know, I lost Lizzie as well. Okay, so I don't know. Shateka, are you still here, or is this Lizzie, someone else? A couple people hopped back on. I was in the middle of Shateka's reading, and everybody hopped off. Okay, Shateka, hi. Okay, perfect. And then Lizzie, if that's you that hopped back in, if that's you that hopped back in, okay, perfect. Hi. I will get to you after this reading. Shateka, so I'm getting the sense that you may have just gone through your moon phase, if that makes sense. So the moon is all about going through the things that are illusory, your fears, doing shadow work. And I think that, you know, you're on the other side of that, and you're manifesting, you're stepping into your sun era. And that is bringing with it a lot of really powerful energy. And I'm definitely seeing things move forward in a positive way for you with this person. This may be quite literally pointing to the summer months. So you're being called to be patient. And of course, make sure that you are still remembering your own power, your own worth here. Use discernment, tap into your intuition, identify if this is something that you want to manifest. But I'm seeing signs are pointing towards something positive for you with manifesting something new. Yeah, but you're being cautioned to, you know, still put yourself first. This may be a bit of a balancing act for you, but don't lose yourself in the process. I think that's the strongest message that's coming through, is don't lose yourself in the process as you embark on a journey with someone new, because you know, you want to be in your power. An aligned companionship is when you have two fully independent people that are coming together. So I hope that resonated. Do let me know in the comments. Lizzie, I think you are still here. So I know you had asked about it. dropped off a few times. You had asked about pregnancy. I don't like to do those kinds of readings, at least not on a public forum. We never know what's going to come through, and some of the messages can be quite sensitive. So I'm glad that resonated, Shiteka. Some of the messages can be quite sensitive, so I definitely want to practice discernment there. So if you have another question that you'd like to ask, maybe about the relationship, I'd be happy, or another area of your life, I'd be happy to give you some insight there today. But yeah, so feel free to drop another question you may have, or if you'd like, you can message me privately afterwards, and we can talk about doing a more in-depth reading offline, because I do want to respect your privacy. It's very important to me. So you're welcome, Jasia. I'm glad it resonated. Thank you. Okay, so Lizzie, yeah, if you're still here, go ahead and drop. Okay. Interesting. Oh, I'm sorry to hear your cat's missing. That's so sad. I have fur babies, and they're the best. I have had that happen. I'm so sorry. Okay, so let's tap into Lizzie's energy and Peanut Butter's energy. That's a really cute name, by the way. Okay, so we have the Three of Pentacles. So automatically I'm picking up on community. So if you haven't already, you probably have, but if you haven't already, oh, you dropped off. So I'm gonna wait until you come back. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, so you are still here. Interesting. Okay, you're back. Got it. Okay, hi. So, yeah, I'm sure you drew the Three of Pentacles here. If you haven't already, I mean, I'm sure you have. This is this is a card of community. So if you haven't already called on your community, then this could be as simple as, I don't know if you're located in the United States, but I know in the US there's an app. I think it might be international, but I think it's just the US. There's an app called Nextdoor. It looks like you dropped off again. Yes, Jasia, you did. Yeah, you did. Thank you for reminding me. I meant to say, yes, I do understand what you meant. So if that is the case, I mean, if you feel more, okay, Lizzie, I see. Then I'm getting wrong metrics. Okay, Jessie, I'll come back to you. That's very strange. It's saying that there's no one in the room. Okay, well, I'm going to keep reading then. So Lizzie, I don't know if you're in the United States, but there's an app called Nextdoor. And it is a place, you can register, and there are different communities that you can post. It's basically like a social media app for neighbors. And I would see lost animal notices all the time. And in fact, I actually helped someone to find their dog through the app Nextdoor. So you may check into that, definitely pull on the strength of your community. If you haven't already, to try to get Peanut Butter back. We'll pull some more cards here. Okay. So we have the Nine of Pentacles upright. The Nine of Pentacles is all about independence. In the context of this question, I'm getting kind of conflicting messages, but things are actually, I would say that things are pointing to you having a positive resolution. In the Rider-Waite and in this deck as well, you see the Rider-Waite, the woman is, she's working with a falcon, and falcons can be somewhat violent but unpredictable, and the fact that this person has kind of trained this falcon is a sign of, it's associated with that independent energy of the Nine of Pentacles. So this is actually, I would say that this is pointing to a positive outcome for your query. We quite literally see the woman reaching for a bird or an animal, in your case, in the context of this reading. But I definitely am sensing that you should call on your community. So if you aren't already doing that, you never know. Post pictures around your neighborhood, speak to your neighbors, and use whatever resources you can. So if you're in the US, Nextdoor is a great resource for reaching out to your local community. If you're not in the US, social media, just post in local communities. There are plenty of Facebook groups that you'll find for your local area. I'm sure you'll be able to find one. And if you don't find one, you can create one. Social media in general, try it out. You never know. We're going to draw one more card for clarification. Yeah, it's interesting. I just noticed, the same pentacle here that's in this 3 is also here. Is also here as well. So I definitely think that the community is going to play a part in trying to help you find peanut butter. I'm going to draw one more card. Okay, and we have the 5 of Swords upright. So this is probably indicative of probably how you're feeling right now. Anxious, unsure about your animal. Maybe keeping you up at night. I know that I have lost an animal and it can be very scary. You just want them to be safe. But I'm definitely saying for you to call on your community for support in order for you to get him back. Yeah, some cats are like that. My mother has 2 cats, and they're sisters, and they couldn't be more different. And one of them is also very independent, and I have to be very careful, whenever I open a door or the garage or anything. She will just stare out the window. We will say that it's like she's watching, kitty TV. And I'm just so afraid that at the first moment she'll just go out the door. That's how cats are. But I know that your cat loves you too, and he's gonna try to find his way home. But definitely call on your community. If you haven't already, try to give Nextdoor a try. Really pull on the power of your community. You never know, someone may have seen your cat. I found a bird. I found a bird during the pandemic, and I used Nextdoor, I think Craigslist, Reddit. I used a bunch of different platforms I used a bunch of different platforms to reach out to see if I could find its owner. And I didn't actually end up finding the bird's owner, but they did help point me to some resources to like understand the kind of bird that it was. So again, do try that. Reach out to the community. I mean, I'm definitely getting that it's taking a heavy toll on your mind. But do reach out to your community and use the resources available to you. I wish you the best of luck. I hope that you get reunited with your fur baby soon. So yeah, Lizzie, let me know if that resonates. Yeah, and keep me posted. Like if you found me on Facebook or here as well, keep me posted. Tell me how things go when you reach out to the community. I want to know. And I love a happy ending. So, I mean, who doesn't love a happy ending, right? So definitely keep me posted. Okay, cool. I'm glad. Okay, so let's see. I see Oolong Princess is new. Hi, welcome to the channel. So I'm gonna go through and see if there's anyone that's still here that had asked some questions earlier on. We've got just a couple people in the room now. So we've got Midnight Blue, if you're still here. Jamie X, C. Scott. Let's see, we read for you. If any of you are still here or if you're new joining us, do feel free to put your questions in the comments and I will be happy to read for you. Okay, so I'll give you guys a minute. Otherwise, we will jump right to Oolong Princess. I mean, you have great timing. There was a bit of a line and you came in at the right time. So, okay, Oolong Princess, what is your question? I love oolong. I'm assuming you're referring to the tea. I like your handle. Oolong tea is delicious. Although I can't say I've met a tea I didn't like. So, whether that is literal or metaphorical. So, yeah. Oolong Princess, if you've got a question, go ahead and drop that down into the comments. Okay. Cool. Fabulous. Oolong tea is the best. If you haven't had, like I had this really good smoky oolong. I mean, oolong itself is kind of smoky, but if you ever have the chance to try like a smoked oolong tea, it's really good. If you like oolong, you also might like Lapsang Souchong. It's also really good. Yeah. Oh, fabulous. I love a good milky tea. Yeah. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, like I said, I don't think I have a tea that I don't like. I tend to prefer mine a little darker. Like I'll leave my tea bag in for a long time or I'll steep it for a while, but depends on the type of tea, especially for like the oolongs or the heavier black teas, it can get really strong. So yeah, but oh, you have found one of my interests. I love tea, so yeah. Okay, so let's get into your reading. Okay, so you guys are no contact then. Okay, so let's tap into energy. Okay, I like your question. You know, whenever I read tarot or I seek advice from a reader myself, oh no. I always like to consider the lesson, you know, so. Oh, that's difficult. Okay, so you guys are, so you said he's your coworker. So you guys are kind of in contact in the sense that you guys still work together. You're just, he's ghosting you in terms of like your relationship. Okay, so you guys were once together and you still work together. Got it. Okay, and if that's not correct, do feel free to let me know in the comments, but okay, cool. Okay. That wasn't resonating, so I'm going to card. Okay, so we have the Magician in reverse. Okay, so upright, this card is all about manifestation. Recognizing your power, being able to tap into your abilities to manifest. It can also represent someone that is engaging in like trickery or deceit. So you may have felt kind of lied to. Yeah, I'm getting the sense that you may have felt led on. Yeah, the Magician can definitely, like in its shadow aspects, it can point to someone that is deceitful. Oh, that's interesting. So we also have the Five of Cups in reverse. So it's almost similar kind of visual imagery between here and this little nest thing here. Yeah, I'm definitely picking up on deceit, you know. I feel like ghosting has become so normalized today, and it's terrible. I mean, especially if you're gonna see someone again. I mean, I don't know that there's really ever, there are certain contexts I'm sure where it could be appropriate, but ghosting, I think, you know, if you're two fully grown adults, I think in most contexts, you should owe it to the other person to at least be respectful enough to communicate, you know, be an adult and communicate where, you know, what your feelings are, where you're coming from. So upright, you know, the Five of Cups is about discontent. I'm feeling that maybe your partner, I'm sorry, not your partner. You may want for him to be your partner. Your person may be newly tapping into their own manifestation powers, and I think they're coming at it from a place of the lack is coming through. Your person may be recovering from excuse me, your person may be actually just coming out of a breakup or recovering from something very difficult. Really weird. Okay. Like, ever? What do you mean he's never spoken to a woman before? Like, literally? That's interesting. Okay. Huh. Okay. Okay, right. Okay. Well, I mean, that's it. I mean, we've got the Magician here, and upright, the Magician is tapped into their powers, and, you know, they're able to draw upon all of the tools of the Magician. So it's the Wands, the Pentacles, the Cups, the Swords. But in reverse, it's kind of not knowing how to harness your power. And so if he hasn't spoken to someone before in this context, he might not know how to do it. So it might quite literally just be not knowing how to behave in this context. But again, with the Five of Cups in reverse, he may be recovering. I said a breakup, but this doesn't need to necessarily be romantic. You know, take it however it resonates. As with all of my readings, take what resonates and leave the rest. But with the Five of Cups, he may be recovering from something that is quite painful for him. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to draw another card. And I think that pain, he may be afraid to open up again because of that pain from the past, and he may not be sure how to articulate it. And then instead of carrying on with the energy, you know, the potential of the cups, let's see. Yeah, so we have the Four of Pentacles upright. And the Four of Pentacles can point to, I think in the upright position, there's both positive and potentially negative associations with this card. It can point towards being protective of what you have, holding things close to the chest or close to the vest as well, being protective. So being guarded. So he may be, I'm definitely tapping into a guarded sort of energy. But why here? Okay, yeah. I mean, that is the card of defensiveness. I mean, that the Nine of Wands. I'm definitely picking up on defensiveness. Both of these cards have very defensive energy. I think it's fear. I'm picking up on a lot of fear. And here with the Three of Wands, another Wands here. I think here also a fear of rejection, perhaps. You know, sometimes it's easier to preempt by setting yourself up with, if you're fearful of taking that next step, or if you're fearful of rejection, you might self-sabotage, or in this case, ghost, because it's easier to hurt someone before they hurt you, if that makes sense, Oolong. That's definitely what I'm picking up on. I think, you know, it's a very ego protective, if that makes sense. I'm going to pull one more card. Also, the Three of Wands can talk about putting something out there. So, I mean, this could quite literally point towards putting yourself out there and not getting something reciprocated. Right. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. That absolutely resonates. And that's not so much about you. That's about where he's at. You know, I know that it's not easy to take these, it can be challenging not to take these things personally, but, so we've got the Ace of Pentacles on the other side of this, and the aces represent new potential. But I think you said he's a co-worker as well. The Pentacles relate to the material realm, that can relate to the financial realm, that may be something he's more comfortable with right now. So he may be going back into what he does know. I think there's still interest here, but I do think there's just the reason why he ghosted you is defensiveness, is fear. I think, again, he's struggling with something in his past that may be keeping him in that place of fear and defensiveness. But I'm not getting that this is about you in particular. I think for now, he's trying to focus on where he can put his energies. And I'm not seeing, until he works on his ability to manifest in a more productive way, I don't know that is, let's see, so does he feel guilty? I'm not getting, this card feels defensive and justified, like this person is standing in their defenses. I think if the ego feels attacked, you know, if a person feels unsafe and the ego feels attacked, they're going to feel justified in that. But know that it has nothing to do with you. Yeah, I know, but sometimes people do things that they promise not to. People break promises all the time, and it doesn't make it any easier, of course, to live with or to understand, but I'm definitely getting that he feels justified in his actions, and I think it has everything to do with his fear. I mean, if you if it's something that you feel that strongly about, I would tell him. I mean, I know that it's challenging if you guys work together, you know, you don't want to ruffle feathers. Um, but I would say if that's something that you want closure on, have that conversation with him. But, you know, maybe try to approach it from a place of, you know, recognizing where he's at. If he's shared with you that he's never spoken to a woman romantically before, then, you know, try to approach that conversation with compassion, you know, recognizing, you know, hey, I know this might be difficult for you, but it's difficult for me too. You told me that you weren't going to do this and I feel hurt. Um, so yeah, I'm sorry. Well, again, this sounds like it's more about him and less about you. I would try my best not to take it personally. Continue to focus on what you can control. Um, and when he's ready to work on, when he's ready to work on those energies within himself, then that will be the right time for him. But we can't force someone else to work on their issues. But the only thing you can do is try to approach him with compassion, and it sounds like you have. So I know it can be challenging to sit with that and be patient, but it sounds like you've done everything that you can. And if he's resistant, if he's defensive, I mean, that definitely is confirmed in the reading. All you can do really is allow him to work through that process, because it sounds like it's a personal issue. It's less about you. So I hope that resonated, Oolong Princess. Do let me know in the comments. I've got a couple of other people here. The people that had previously asked questions, I think, had dropped off. So if you're new here, if you would like a reading, go ahead and drop your questions in the comments. I'm doing my best to try to read for everyone. It's been about an hour and a half, so I'm gonna have to drop off soon. But do feel free to drop your questions in the comments. If you would like to guarantee a reading, the information for donation is in the description box. Any amount is appreciated, but not required. Yeah, Oolong, in terms of interest, I think right now he's still in that place of fear. That's definitely what I was picking up on, is he's in that place of fear and defensiveness. And when we can get caught in that place, it can be hard to focus on something else. Even if he was interested, if that fear is taking precedence over him wanting to work through, to do the work necessary to be able to communicate effectively with you, then, you know, you're going to constantly be at a standoff, and you deserve to have the relationship that you want in your life. You know, all relationships will require some amount of work, but it shouldn't be a drudgery, if that makes sense. I could pull you another card, but I want to make sure that I'm being fair to the other people that are in the reading. I see there's three people here on the live. So if you are here and you would like a question, go ahead and drop that in the comments. I know earlier we had, let me scroll through, Midnight Blue, Jamie X, C. Scott, and I think that was it. Okay, so Oolong, is it just you here then? If that is, then I can pull you another card. I'm here for a few more minutes, so. Okay. Anybody that just joined us, welcome. If you have any questions, do feel free to drop them in the comments. Okay, so I'll go ahead and pull you another card, Oolong. Sure. Interesting. So we have the World. We have the World. So that is another major arcana card. There were quite a few. You know, the first card that I pulled for him was, or for you regarding him, was the Reverse Magician. And now we have, and that's excuse me, that is the one of the first cards in the major arcana, and the world is one of the last. Of course, everything moves in cycles, and but the fact that this came up when I was drawing on the energy of if there was still interest, I'm hearing that he thinks the world of you. Although he may not have experience in this area, I do think he feels highly towards you. Now, that may be very confusing to you because you're obviously getting mixed signals. You know, if he does, then why would he ghost you? Why would he tell you to go away? But it's sort of like, it's kind of the cliche of the bully on the playground, right? Especially when we're kids, it's not uncommon for the bully to pick on the person that they like, you know, because they don't have the emotional maturity to handle their emotions. Um, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, dealing with rejection in any context is hard, but if you've been through trauma of any kind, I'm so sorry. It can make it even more difficult because it can be very easy to internalize things like when we feel rejected, it can be very easy to take that personally and feel like there's something wrong with you, but know that that's not the case. This is about him. Um, well, I mean, as far as you said, he felt like he couldn't help. I mean, unfortunately, for the most part, working through, I mean, you don't, it's not really any of my business, but in terms of working through those sorts of things in your life, often it's really solitary work. So it's work that you do on your own. I mean, to an extent, I mean, obviously you seek out counsel. That could be professional counseling, that could be your community. But a lot of that work, even when you are seeking professional help or the help of your friends or whatever the case may be to navigate your trauma, um, all of the work, you know, you can go in and see a therapist. You can go talk to your community. You can talk to, you know, if you're religious or spiritual or whatever you can talk to your community. They can't do the work for you. Even if you're to see a therapist, the therapist doesn't do the work for you. It's something that you do on your own. And it can be very difficult if someone is in a dynamic with someone that has gone through that because they can feel kind of helpless. But if you are still internalizing that, you know, try to sit with that, you know, sit in meditation and or quiet contemplation and consider the work that, yeah, that's good. I mean, he may have felt pressure to help you, and I mean, so going back to the world card because I got kind of sidetracked. I get the sense that so he's obviously in a new beginning in terms of communicating with someone on a romantic level. And so that could mark the end of a cycle for him and the beginning of a new one in terms of learning how to communicate, but that can be tricky. So at the end of the fool's journey with the world, you start over. And that's the fool card. That's the very beginning of the fool's journey. And then that's where we start again with the magician, which is for card number one, which is what we drew in reverse, which I was picking up on with his energy. So I think given where you're at, if there's a pressure that he may be feeling for, you know, helping you through this time, um, if that's something that's come up, like if he communicated that with you, or if you feel that that is the case, and you want to continue to pursue that, I would try. I mean, it sounds like you already have. It sounds like you have already reached out to him and he wasn't receptive. I do still see that there's interest, but I don't know that he knows how to move forward with that. And that can be tricky, you know. Learning how to communicate is like a lifelong lesson, but communicating with someone when you have um, other issues like trauma, um, it can be tricky, you know. There can be triggers involved, and yeah, let me see, I'm reading your messages. Okay. Yeah, see, that could be problematic. I mean, he said helping you through your trauma was a goal of his. I mean, that's admirable. That's sweet in a sense. I mean, I think that I feel somewhat conflicted because I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of Florence Nightingale syndrome, but if you're not, look into it. No one can really do the work for you. He can want to do that, but you've got to do that for yourself. And I know that you know that. As far as him, and I would communicate that to him, you know, if that's a boundary of yours, you know, absolutely be very clear, especially at the beginning of a relationship, you know, be very clear about what you want and what your boundaries are. I think it's great that you've already had that transparency with this person. But as far as them reaching out to you, I think that's going to be up to the person. You know, they're going to, if they are, they're going to do it when they're ready, and no amount of forcing the issue is really going to advance that any further. So, yeah. So you're saying that he was anxious, he's anxious? Okay, let's see. I see. Okay. Yeah, no, I get that. And I mean, in relationships, there's I don't know if you're familiar with the poet Rumi. He's a great Persian poet, but if you're not, look him up. His work is great. But one of his poems, in short, one of the lines from his poems is, the wound is where the light enters. So I don't know the story of your trauma, and you don't have to share that with me. But the wound is where the light enters is this idea that, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory, but where we were once hurt is where we can find our source of strength. And so relationships can be a great place for us to learn how to trust again. But we also want to practice discernment and make sure that we're coming at it from the right place. It's beautiful that he does want to help you, though. Let's see, I'm reading your comments. That's what I meant when okay, I understand, and that's admirable. Yeah, definitely look up Rumi. He's fabulous. Yeah, he's great. There's been several books of poetry that he's published, and there's been a lot of translations. His work is really beautiful, very spiritual as well. I find his poems are just kind of balm for the soul. Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting any negative energy there. I don't know. If anything, Oolong, I think that he might have struggles with self-acceptance. So he might like dislike himself, if that makes sense. And I mean, I'm not saying he has a negative regard for himself in every aspect. I just get the sense that he may be very self-critical. And if he's struggling with self-worth issues, this may be compounded by, like, if he feels already at a low self-worth and that he's not able to help you through what you're going with, that could make it more difficult for him. And it has nothing to do with him, and it has everything to do with you. You know, we're all on our own individual journeys through life, and yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. But it sounds like you're doing the best that you can. I mean, you've approached him, you've been honest and transparent with your expectations and what you want. And if he's not responding to that, then it's not the right time, and frankly, it's his loss. If you're presenting an opportunity for him, then, um, you know, it's going to, he's going to have to go through his own process. Um, and if you also feel like you are still in a part of your healing journey where um, you may be, yeah, I don't know. I would say also, if this is something that's sitting heavy on you, Oolong, and you said you're already in therapy, it may be worth talking about this again. You know, you've put yourself out there, you've been vulnerable. Um, maybe speak about that with the person that you're seeing. But I hope that resonated. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. And feel free to drop some comments in the comment section on how that resonated, and stick around for future lives. I see we've got someone else that just joined the chat. So if you just joined, I'm about to wrap it up, but if you have a question that you'd like answered, do feel free to drop it into the comments section, and I will do my best to answer it. I am glad that that resonated for you, Oolong. Fabulous. I wish you the best of luck on your healing journey and in your love life as well. It's fabulous. I hope things work out. It can be kind of tricky when it's someone that you work with. So I hope that works out for you guys. But yeah, the other person that's on the line, if you want to have a question answered, go ahead and drop that in the comments. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to give it another few minutes, see if anyone else joins us or if we have any other questions. I guess for the people that are on, if you don't have any questions, I have another deck that I have been testing out. I've seen a couple of new people in the chat. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments while I'm waiting for some new questions. I've been testing out a new deck. So this is just for a bit of fun. Yeah, but in the meantime, do feel free to drop your questions. I just got this deck the other day, and this is just a fun little fortune-telling deck. So I don't know if any of you here have seen the movie Big with Tom Hanks. If you haven't seen it, it's a fabulous movie. But in the beginning of the movie, Tom Hanks's character, when he was younger, he goes to see a fortune teller. Well, it's a fortune teller machine to get his fortune read, and it is called Zoltar, and this deck is called Zoltar Speaks, and it is a fortune telling deck. So I see, okay, everybody has dropped off, so I'm going to give it another minute, and I will call it a wrap in just a minute. Oh, Oolong, you're still here. Okay. Well, it's just you. Okay, we can read one more, sure. I'm gonna make it short. Okay. You're welcome. Go ahead and drop your question. Okay. Okay, any new people joining us, do feel free to drop your questions into the comment section. Been streaming for a while now, so I'm going to be cutting it short soon. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. So we drew, these two popped out. So we drew the world again, which we just drew. So it kind of sounds like you're in a similar energy in terms of ending one cycle and beginning a new. And then we also drew the Chariot. So I am picking up on Swift energy. So I think the work that you're doing now, I think, is setting you up for manifesting something manifesting your relationship. And I think that you mentioned a healthy relationship. I am seeing that, the world is a solo woman. And again, going back to what I had said earlier in the live stream, we can't fill it from an empty cup. We have to be able to stand fully within our own power in order to manifest. And I'm getting the sense that you've done a lot of work on yourself, and that is going to open up those that area of abundance for you in your love life. Okay, and we're seeing the Four of Swords. And so the Four of Swords is a card of rest. And I think it's interesting because contrasted with the Chariot talks about swift movement, fast momentum. And the Four of Swords is actually a period of rest and reflection. So you may be, in terms of when, I think right now you may feel like a real sense of pressure to act quickly, to be in a relationship now, to manifest something now. But I think Spirit is calling for you to really take a rest, meditate on what it is that you do want. Use this time that you are single to identify who you are, what it is that you want. What boundaries do you want to set with yourself and with others so that you can know when the right person comes along. Again, I do get a sense of you want it now, but be patient. I do want to draw one more card for clarification. Okay. So the King of Wands. So I'm seeing after this period of rest, again, we are going to see swift movement, but you're being called to go inwards first. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to jump right into a relationship. Everything does happen in divine timing. We can't force something. If it's not right for us, and we do try to force it, it's probably not going to work out very well. But as soon as you do take that time to rest and reflect and contemplate on what it is that you want, you're going to be in a position to really have that fast momentum, and manifest what it is that you do want. You got this King of Wands, excuse me. The wands are associated with the element of fire, passion, creativity. In the background here, you see the lion. That's the king of the jungle. They are masters of their own domain. They know how to hunt. They know how to go get their prey. But you have to know what you want first. So I think use this time that you have to figure out who you are as an individual, and so that you don't lose yourself when you do find that person. And also, so that if you find someone like that in your current position, you're in a situation where someone feels responsible for kind of solving your problems. Or not necessarily solving your problems, but he wants to be a part of helping you to open up and trust again. And while that's admirable, only you can do that. But I think you have to give yourself that. You have to take that, that this woman's heart is kind of outside of herself. You have to take that rest and figure out how to find this within yourself again. Nobody can give that to you. And once you do that, once you're in that place of feeling comfortable with, finding comfort within, then you're going to be happy with or without a relationship. And that is the kind of energy that attracts, that is magnetic, that is going to attract that person that is meant for you. So I hope that helps, Oolong Princess. We've had kind of an extended reading. But I'm glad that worked out for you. I hope that that resonated. If you like what you see, do feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna try to do lives as often as I can. But yeah, do stick around, and I don't know if you found me here or on Facebook, but I will do my best to also post any live streams that I'll be doing on my channels and social media as well. So, and if you are on Facebook, if that's where you found me, I would do like regular pick-a-card readings, and I'll be working with different decks. I'm traveling right now, so I'm primarily working with the decks that you see, like the Light Series Tarot, and I have another deck as well. Okay, you found me on YouTube. Perfect. Well, if you look on my profile, you'll find the links to my Facebook. And if you feel called, of course, today's reading was absolutely free. I do lots of free readings as well. But if you do feel so called, there's information on donation as well. But I do lots of free readings. But you'll find in my bio page the links to my other socials. So I do free readings on Facebook. I'm in a couple of different groups there. I think most of them are private, but you should be able to join. And yeah, like here, I try to do as many as I can. They're a lot shorter. I mean, this was a live video. The readings on Facebook are usually just, pick-a-cards. You're welcome. But yeah, here I'm going to try to do lives as well and post, yeah, and then I do a lot of collective readings. That's most of what I do here. So in fact, if you'd like, you can take a look at my other videos that I have. I've got one on what to look out for in 2025. So it's kind of a year overview. And then my most recent video for tarot was a love reading specifically. So you might want to check that out as well. That might have messages for you. But yeah, stick around. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you in the next reading. I am going to sign off. I see one other person here. Last chance, if you've got a question. I am going to sign off in the next minute. I mean, it's perfect timing. It's 1:11 on the clock. So thank you for everybody that joined me tonight, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye.